Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Navin, and today we will be looking into part 3 of most expected AR questions in MAHCET. So, as in the previous two sessions, we have seen how visual reasoning or reasoning like these, analytical based, not exactly only visual, but questions related to dice, questions related to cubes, all these questions are attempted and how do we solve them. So let's solve some of the questions today as well. And let's see if we have got some unique questions that we haven't done so far. So the very first question says, select the option that is related to the third term in the same way as the second term is related to the first term. So we have solved similar questions before. So what do you think the answer is going to be? The first and the second, these two figures are related in some way. In the very same way, the third and the fourth should be related. So what do you think? Yeah, good afternoon, Tanesh. Good afternoon, Nishi. क्या हो रहा है? The first and second, they are related, and in the same way, third and fourth should be related. So if you look at the first figure, it is made up of a rhombus or a square. You can say it looks like more like a square, which looks like a diamond shape, right? And then you've got two rectangles. When we look into the second figure, we have the rectangle at the center and the two diamonds or the vertical squares alongside it. So all we have to do is copy paste. Now if we have two triangles, okay, so if we had the rectangles like this, the rectangle continued to remain so. If we have a triangle, so we will have a triangle as such. Next, if we had one diamond or one vertical square at the center, now we have two vertical squares at the east and west side of that rectangle. Since we have a circle here, we are going to have two circles to the east and the west of it. So going by the options, it's going to be C, right? But please do check the other one. I mean, there is an option which says either B or C. Why would they say either B or C? What is happening? The thing is, because we have the rectangles and the vertical squares, whether they are simply copy pasted or whether they are inverted and copy pasted, that is very difficult to figure out. Hai ki nahi? So if these triangles we have, whether the triangles will continue to remain the same way or will it change, we don't know. While the circle, if it inverts, then also it will make no difference, right? But the triangle, it will make difference. So we can have B as well. So the correct answer is going to be E and not C. Right? Is my voice very low? Saraswati, Chetan, everyone else? Yeah. Good afternoon, Minil. Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ansar. Okay, can you please check if my voice is clear? Is it clear now? Okay, next question. Hi Ram, we are taking quant class also. Please look into the channel. In the video section, please go through the playlists of MAHCET 2023. You will find quant questions and quant sessions also happening. Okay. The next one, find the missing figure. So these are going to be in a pattern, the figures, right? So we have two quarter circles at the northeast and southwest. Then the missing figure we have, then we have two quadrants or two quarter circles on the northwest and southeast. And then we have again, now we have two semicircles on the north and the south. So what should have happened such that the figure goes from there to there? क्या हुआ होगा, क्या पैटर्न रहा होगा? So if we happen to consider this figure, if we complete this and if we follow this, this looks like a dumbbell, right? एक सर्किल इधर, एक सर्किल इधर, और ये डंबल है. एक सर्किल इधर, एक सर्किल इधर, there is a dumbbell. There is one circle here, there is one circle here, there is a dumbbell, right? So if the dumbbell was facing, it was inclined towards the positive direction of x-axis, then in the middle figure, the dumbbell should have been horizontal, so that the next time when dumbbell rotates, you know, it's very difficult to say clockwise or no, it's going to be clockwise, right? So it rotates clockwise. So when it rotates clockwise, it goes diagonally. So we are pretty sure the answer is not going to be C, E, or D. Hai na? Now, what about this line? So the second, this extra line that we have, it was here, then it is here, then it moved diagonally. So if it moved diagonally, so don't you think it was meeting this point and then it was meeting this point? Eventually this is meeting at the corner. So when the dumbbell is horizontal or vertical, it should be meeting at the corner. That we can very clearly see in the options A as well as B, right? So how the shifting will happen? When the dumbbells, they move in the east-west direction, this extra line, should it touch the southwest corner or should it touch the northwest corner of the square? So looking at the rotation, it should what logic shall we give here? So the logic would be, it's if this is the arrow, then this is the arrow, and then this is the arrow. So it is moving 1, 2, 3. So it's supposed to move 1, 2, 3. A makes more sense, right? A makes more sense. Reason being, if you look at, if you treat both the straight lines as an arrow, so it was first of all adjusted, it was supported at the horizontal line because the diagonal was inclined. Next time when the diagonal was inclined, again it's the horizontal one. If the diagonal is horizontal, it's going to be at this particular corner because that's what the rotation will take place, right? जब रोटेशन होगा तो वो वाला जो लाइन है, the extra line, that will move towards the southwest corner and not the northwest, right? So A makes more sense. A और B थोड़ा close था. Okay, next one looks like handle of an umbrella, J's. Select the figure that will replace the question mark in the following series. When we have more than 4 figures and the 5th figure is asked, it's relatively easier to find because we have so many figures to find out the pattern, right? So every square is made up of 3 figures. One is a J-shaped figure, then you have a T-shaped figure, and let's call this an I-shaped figure. So you pick one of the 3 figures and just follow it through. What you will realize that J figure has moved downwards. It has further moved downwards, and once it reaches the end, it goes back to the top. Let's look at the T figure. The T figure has moved downwards. And once it reaches downwards, it moves to the first and then it moves again. So they are kind of rotating, right? They are forming a cycle. So you don't have to follow I figure because that's what exactly it will be also doing. 3 फिगर्स में से 2 फिगर सेम पैटर्न है तो थर्ड भी वही चल रहा है, right? Also, if you look at the J-shaped figure, the bend or the curve part was on the right hand side. Next time it was on the left hand side. Again it was on the right hand side. Again on the left hand side. And every time the bent figure is towards the south. So the next time also we are supposed to have the J figure, but it will move towards the center, right? Because it's moving downwards. And instead of the curved part being on the left hand side, they should move towards the right hand side. So obviously C and D can't be our answer. Let's look at the figure T. T figure, the T bone structure, it was on the left hand side, then it moved to the right hand side, then it moved to the left, then to the right. Then this T will move further down and its turn should be towards the left hand side. So A and B, they both make sense. So let's look into the I figure. So I was, the dot of the I was on the right hand side, then left, then right, then left. Now it's the turn for it to be on the right hand side. So the best figure is going to be B. You can say mirror image every time. Every pair of figures are, every consecutive pair of figures were mirror images, correct? Next one, we have 5 symbols in every square. So the first step is, do we have the same 5 figures? If we have the same 5 figures, it means each of the 5 figures or the symbols, they are following an order or a rotation or a random, or not random, in some pattern they are moving around. If we have new figures, it means that some figures, some symbols will leave the space and new symbols will replace, new symbols will come in, right? So if you pay attention, you will find that every square has got alpha, beta, gamma, theta, and this tilde. Not tilde, this is the power, the cap. सब में वही है, तो next वाले में भी सब में वही होगा, right? Now, how the rotation is happening? What is happening here? So pick one of the symbols and simply follow it through. So let's look at alpha. So alpha was consistent at these 2 corners, then it suddenly moved to the opposite corner and then it stayed there. So it was alpha, alpha, it was alpha, alpha. Okay, let's look at beta now. Beta is here, then it moved to the opposite corner, then it stayed there and then it came to at the center. फिर center पे आ गया. Okay, let's look at gamma. Gamma was at one corner, it was again at the same corner and then it came at the center and then it again moved here. ठीक है? And if we look at theta, theta was at a corner, it came to the center, it stays in the southwest side. So the pattern is what comes here. So we have theta here, right? So can we say this theta will be coming here? Next, this gamma comes in the center, right? Next, this beta comes in the center. What should be the next figure? पहले northwest वाला figure symbol came at the center, then northeast वाला. Again northwest वाला symbol came at the center. So don't we think it should be the turn for northeast wala symbol to come at the center? So we should have alpha at the center. First thing. Second thing is, so obviously this will help us eliminate some of the options, right? So B is not your answer, C is not your answer, E is not your answer. Next is whatever is at the center, where does it move? So this one moves here towards the southeast. Next time it moves southwest. Next it moves southeast. अब next इसको move करना है southwest, right? So whatever is at the center, it moves southwest now. So beta is at the center, so beta should move towards the southwest. So we need to have alpha and beta in this order. The only option that makes sense is option A. Okay, Antima. A, not D. Okay. Next one. Again, we have 6 figures, out of which one of the figures is missing. We need to find out which out of the 5 given option figures will replace that question figure. So we have D and P, then we have DP, then we have PD, and then things are moving around. What will happen? Which will be the question mark figure? D. D as in fourth. Okay. What is everyone answering? A, B, D. So, what if we put option 1 as in, what if we put P and D? Will there be any logical explanation? Well, what we see is the letters are P and D. When P is shaded, D doesn't look like D, but it's mirror image. Again, we have P and D. We have P and D. But every time P is shaded, as in the circular, semicircular part of P is shaded, D is not D, it's the inverted D. So without P being shaded, how can we have inverted D? ये तब सेंस बनता ना अगर P shaded होता तो inverted D देखना दिखता, पर यहाँ तो first option है P shaded है नहीं, right? So obviously the first one will not make sense. Similarly, the fifth one will not make sense. The only three options that make sense are second, third and fourth. ठीक है, अब second, third and fourth में से second को put करते हैं. So if we put second here, that is P is shaded and we have D here, this is again an issue, right? Because if P is shaded, how come D is not inverted? That means second also doesn't make sense. Let's pick in the third option. If you put in the third option, we are going to have P here shaded and then we are going to have D here. If P semicircular part is shaded, how come D looks like D? Why not inverted one? So इसका मतलब कि आपका third option यानी कि C option, third figure is also discarded. Going by the power of elimination, we know that the answer is going to be option D. So every time the P letter is shaded, D is inverted. तो option में तो अगर D inverted है तो P shaded नहीं था और अगर P shaded था तो D inverted नहीं था. एक ही option था जिधर shaded भी है और inverted भी है, which is fourth. Right? Okay, next one. Right, Yash. Regular classes, yes, Antima. MAHCET sessions are happening on YouTube at same time every day. Looks like some of you know each other. Looks like friends are studying together. Good. So we need to select the figure which has the same relation with figure 3 that figure 1 has with figure 2. Okay. So figure 1 and figure 2 are related in some way. In the same way, figure 3 and 4 are going to be related. Don't relate second and third figure. Not related. First and second are related. Third and fourth are going to be related. So again, pick one of the two symbols and follow it through. So you have more like a ruby shaped figure, where the shaded part as the center, it's in a vertical position. Then it moves to the horizontal position, right? Ek idhar. When this moves up, this hourglass figure, it moves down, but it takes the mirror image shape, or it gets inverted. As in, the shaded part of hourglass was on the top. Right now, it is on the bottom. Right? Okay. Going by this logic, when we move here and when we move here, so this shape will obviously come here down, which is southeast direction mein, and even if it's get inverted, it will not make any difference क्योंकि ये तो ऐसा ही दिखेगा, है ना? इसको invert होना है. Now, if it gets inverted, so we are pretty sure that A and B will not be the answer. Okay. Now, if you look at this diamond shaped figure where the shaded portion is below, when it moves upwards, it is supposed to take a rotation. ठीक है? तो आप इसको rotation में, you can take it clockwise or anti-clockwise, it doesn't matter, right? So, इसको अपन ऐसे ले लेते clockwise. So if it moves clockwise, the shaded portion should be pointing towards the west direction, right? So E makes sense. Could there be any other logic? Actually, it's difficult to figure out if it's C or E, क्योंकि ये अगर clockwise ना हो के anti-clockwise rotate किया, तब तो C भी हो सकता है ना? So we'll have to come up with some more concrete logic. The concrete logic being, this particular shape is symmetrical. Why? Because बीच में shaded है, ऊपर और नीचे shaded नहीं है. But this particular shape is not symmetrical the moment it gets shaded. So a figure which is not symmetrical, so what happens is, if the shaded portion is facing or it's closer to the side, जैसे कि नॉन शेडेड वाला पोर्शन जो है इस वाले साइड से, बॉटम साइड से दूर है ना? So it should be facing towards the side. So when it goes down, it's facing towards the side. So if you look at this particular diamond shaped figure, ये आपका side पे face कर रहा है, right? So when it moves up, it should face this side, यानी ऊपर की तरफ face करेगा. पर ये अगर ऊपर की तरफ face करेगा तो दिक्कत ये है कि ठीक है. So it's going to face upwards, and this ruby shaped figure, is going to take a rotation, right? Vertical to horizontal. So since this is a vertical one, it will move horizontal. So this ruby shaped figure should lie down. It should go horizontal. Sorry, इस तरफ नहीं है, दूसरे साइड शेड है, इधर और इधर शेड है इसमें. So the figure that has both of these is going to be B. Reason being, if I use the movement irrespective of the way the figures are symmetrical or not, I will get two options. C can be our answer, E also can be our answer. So दो options आ रहे हैं. So we can't use that logic. So we have to come up with some other logic. The logic is, if something is symmetrical, okay, and if it's a ruby shaped figure, it will rotate. Vertical will become horizontal. And since it's symmetrical, it doesn't really matter. But if you have an hourglass, or let's say the diamond shaped figure, because it's not symmetrical, एक side ज़्यादा weightage है because one side it is shaded and the other side is not shaded. तो उस केस में the shaded portion is always facing towards the side of the square. ठीक है? सिद्धेश 90 डिग्री क्लॉकवाइज या एंटी क्लॉकवाइज उसका दिक्कत है. देखो, आपका सी भी आंसर हो सकता है उस केस में और ई भी हो सकता है अगर आप जाओगे तो वो लॉजिक से सेंस नहीं बनेगा, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो इफ इट्स 90 डिग्री क्लॉकवाइज और एंटी क्लॉकवाइज, राइट? और दो ऑप्शन तो मार्क नहीं कर सकते, तो आपको कोई और लॉजिक सोचना पड़ेगा. Okay, next one. Select the figure among the following options in which the given figure is embedded. So ये जो what shall I say, infinity sign using straight lines, या W shape, where is it hidden? Where do you find this? The two triangles such that they're, they have a common vertex. Where do you find it? कहीं भी नहीं है, right? It's not in C, it's not in B, it's not in A, it's not in D. So none of the above. Finally, after solving so many questions, एक का आंसर none of the above आया, है ना? गाइस, ये वाला फिगर ये है, आपको ये फिगर चाहिए. Now this is again confusing, because in some questions of embedded figure, the figure should be, it can be rotated but it should be seen. Sometimes it should be the exact image. The rotation is not allowed. So none of the above नहीं देना चाहिए था, है ना? So actually D can also be the answer. Bad. Okay, D is going to be your answer if rotation is allowed. It's very difficult. ये तभी आंसर क्लियर होता ना अगर none of the above नहीं होता, you had some other fifth figure. And if rotation is not allowed, then you are going to have E. Because this is not square shaped boundary, right? This is rectangular. So, it has got a length and a breadth, so it is distinguishable. अभी क्या हो रहा है ना कि ये वाला फिगर में आपको फील आ रहा है ना कि ये जो फिगर है इन ऑप्शन डी, this is more squeezed in and this one is more elongated because it's along the length. तो सेम फिगर नहीं है. I mean, वो भी डमरू है, but it's not the same figure, right? Because the boundary is rectangular. Had it been square, तब तो सेंस मतलब कोई डिफरेंस नहीं होता, मतलब तब तो डी हो जाता आंसर. Agreed? तो मेरे हिसाब से तो E होना चाहिए. I said D because I saw a lot of you answering D because you guys assume कि rotation is allowed. ठीक है? Find the number of triangles in the given figure. Since this triangle, this shape, not triangle, this shape is completely asymmetrical, so you will have to count it patiently. सिद्धेश, वो जो डमरू शेप फिगर किधर दिख रहा है वो पता करना है. ये जो आपका डमरू शेप फिगर है ना, ये कहां पर है छुपा हुआ, तो वो यहां छुपा हुआ है. देखो, that's why others are answering D option. But I am saying कि ये डमरू horizontal है और यहां पर ये vertical है. They are not the same figures because this is squeezed within the breadth or this is squeezed within the length. So both are, two triangles at a common vertex, but ये same triangles नहीं, ऊपर वाले और नीचे वाला triangle छोटा, ऊपर वाला triangle बड़ा है. So if I try to superimpose this and find, I will not find it. So that's why I'm saying E is the answer, none of the above. Okay. Yep. So number of triangles in this figure. Akash, the boundary was rectangular. E, none of the above. Okay. Square boundary, then D. I will not allow rotation because length and breadth matters. The size matters. हाँ जी. So how many triangles do we have here? Start counting from the smallest or the largest. Generally prefer the largest. 10, 9, 8, 8 है कहाँ इधर? So 9, 10, 11. These are the options you are getting. ठीक है. So the first triangle is this particular triangle, right? The next triangle is this triangle. I'm calculating the small parts, okay? The next one is this, and then we have ek idhar ko. So we have 4 so far. We also have this large triangle here. You know, your dotted line they denote the lines that are actually drawn. Then we do have one more triangle here, which is of this shape. Dotted wala kuch aisa dikh raha. I mean, dotted lines will become strong, proper lines in the figure. So we have 4, 5, 6. We have 6 triangles so far. The largest ones and the smallest ones. Okay. Not smallest, the smaller ones. अब आते हैं सबसे छोटे वाले triangles. So in the smallest part of triangles, we have this particular triangle, 1. Then we have second triangle, which is this, 2. We have another triangle, which is this, 3. And then we have another triangle, which is this. So we have 4 small triangles. So 6 and then 4. So A तो नहीं है, 10 तो अभी मिल चुका है, right? Okay. Do we have any more triangle here? So 1, 2, and 3. Then we have 1, 2, and 3. Then we have 1. Then we have 1 and 2. We have the 1 on the right hand side. Since we do not have any more vertical lines, as in, एक और triangle में along नहीं जा रहा, so we won't be able to form another triangle out of it, right? Which other triangle am I missing? You guys are answering 11 and 12. 12 आ रहा है, मतलब 2 मिस हो रहा है मेरे से. I don't know. Are you guys considering this portion also to be a triangle? ये वाला? ये triangle नहीं है. ठीक है. The lines are only drawn, the black lines that you see. Those boundaries are not the black lines. Ten, right? Pretty sure this is right now. I'm pretty sure it's 10. 10 है. Already counted, no? These 4 small triangles को मिलाकर ये तो बना. यही वाला तो shape है. 10 होगा. Confuse कर देते हो आप लोग. 11 and 12, मतलब मैं miss कर रहा हूँ कुछ. Okay, next one. Select the figure from the following options that is related to the third figure in the same way as the second figure is related to the first figure in the arrangement. So we have square boxes here. So we have a pentagon, then we have a hexagon, we have a square, then what we need to have? Simple, right? Simple. We have a 5-sided figure, and then we have a 6-sided figure, we have a vertical line. We have a 4-sided figure, so we need to have 5-sided figure, एक extra side and a vertical line. Which out of these is a 5-sided figure and a vertical line? Of course, it's not A, B, or C, but a 5-sided figure which should be symmetrical on both the sides. It looks like D, which is definitely not a pentagon. It's not a regular pentagon, but that's not our concern क्योंकि ये square भी नहीं है. Fourth figure is not a square. So it's not that the figures are symmetric, regular all throughout. The first pentagon is regular pentagon. The hexagon is regular hexagon. Next figure is a rectangle, right? देखो आप length और breadth देखो अलग अलग है ना? या फिर वो बस आंखों का धोखा है? चलो D मार्क करते हैं क्योंकि ये भी symmetrical है. There is a line passing vertically. Okay, next one. Select the figure that will replace the question mark. Every square, every figure has got 4 symbols, 4 signs. Pick one of the signs, one of the symbols, and just follow it through. Then pick the next one and follow it through. You will see some pattern. Right? D, C. देखते हैं. If you look at each of these 4 figures that are visible, you will find, if you move clockwise, you will find square, then asterisk, plus multiplication back to square. Square, asterisk, plus multiplication back to square. ठीक है, तो मैं ये लास्ट वाला नहीं ड्रॉ कर रहा हूं, नहीं तो फिर किधर से शुरू कर रहे हैं वो नहीं पता चलेगा. Square, asterisk, plus multiplication and back to square. Square, asterisk, plus multiplication, and if you complete the circle, it will be back to square. ठीक है, पहले तो हमें पता है कि this is the cycle, this is the sequence of the symbols we have. So we have a plus, asterisk, sorry, we have square, asterisk, option A देख रहे हैं, ठीक है? Square, asterisk, plus and multiplication. Perfect, match कर रहे हैं. Square, asterisk, multiplication, and then plus sequence breaks. Square plus multiplication, asterisk, sequence breaks. Square plus asterisk multiplication, sequence breaks. Right? सबसे पहले चीज तो ये हो गई कि sequence break कर रहा है. So the answer is either A or the answer is E. Now, question arises, which one is the answer? Right? So दो तरीके हैं इसको समझने के. If you go from one figure to the other one, so square moves one place, and then it moves diagonally. Then it should move one place, and then it should move diagonally. This should be true for other symbols as well, right? So let's look at asterisk. Asterisk move one place clockwise, and then it moves diagonal. Then it again should move one place clockwise, and then in the next one it should move diagonal. So that's exactly what we see in the fifth one. Let's follow plus. Plus, if you look at the first and second figure, plus moves one place clockwise, and then it moves diagonal. Then plus should further move one place clockwise, such that it next moves diagonal. Diagonal as in just on the opposite face, on the opposite side of its current position. So अगर east है तो south, north, west चला जाएगा. If it is north, it will move south and vice versa, right? So we need to have a square, an asterisk, a plus in that sequence, right? If we follow the last shape, which is multiplication, so multiplication also moves one place clockwise, then it moves on the opposite face, west se east chala gaya, and then again it should move one place clockwise, so that it should now switch to the other side, as in from south it should move to north. That's exactly where you'll find it in the fifth figure. So the final sequence should be, we need to have a square and then an asterisk, right? Then we need to have a plus and then we need to have a multiplication. Yes, sequence hona chahiye. Do we have any of those? No. E ho gaya answer. ठीक है? Okay. Next one. So these questions are little complicated as compared to the previous two lectures we have done. Previous two तो बहुत ही simple थे, right? So select the figure which is the odd one out among the given figures. कौन सा different है? There can be many reasons, and because of those reasons, अलग-अलग option आएगा. It depends on what logic you are going to use. भाई साहब. Answer could be first, answer could be second, answer could be fifth. Tricky one, right? Okay, so hear me out. First is the odd one out, because every other figure, they are symmetrical. देखो, सर्किल में आपने ऐसे एरो बनाया या फिर आपने ऐसे एरो बनाया, सिमेट्रिकल है ना, either horizontally or vertically. If you take a rectangle, whether you draw an arrow like this or whether you draw an arrow like this is again symmetrical horizontally or vertically. Same is the case with fourth figure. If you take a triangle and whether you draw an arrow like this or whether you draw an arrow like this is symmetrical. The arrow breaks the figure into two equal or congruent parts. First figure में ये वाला जो आपका triangle है, ये symmetrical नहीं है. It randomly doesn't start from a vertex. It starts randomly from a side and parallel to the one of the sides. So ये वाला figure symmetrical नहीं करता. So due to this reason, first वाले में there is something different. Now, second can also be the answer. Why? Because every other figure, the major chunk wherein arrow lies, those are made up of straight lines. ये circle straight line से नहीं बना हुआ. उस logic से second भी हो सकता है. Fifth could be our answer. All the first four figures, all the arrows, they are pointing either in east-west direction or north-south direction. They both are not pointing in the same pair of primary directions, opposite primary directions. ठीक है? या तो एक north-south है, एक या फिर east-west है. Fifth figure only, we have the arrows which are pointing towards the north and south both. There is no east and west there. So fifth can also be the answer. तो अब आप मेरे को ये बताओ कि एक्चुअल आंसर क्या होना चाहिए. क्योंकि मेरे को तो 3 ऑप्शन आ रहे हैं. हाँ, that's what arrow. They are going to meet at 90 degrees in the first four, and the fifth one it's 180 degrees. Completely agree. But I'm saying first and second भी तो हो सकता है. So Pawan, how do we know in the fourth figure only the square is repeated? How about fourth figure is fine, the third figure the square is repeated? ये कैसे पता करोगे? And they never said that these are part of a certain sequence. ये sequence का part है या नहीं हमें नहीं पता. It's not given, right? हाँ, had this been a part of sequence, then we could have compared pair of figures कि क्या चल रहा है. How the figures are also moving, how the arrows are also pointing. ये भी मुश्किल हो जाता. So which out of these three logic do you find the logic which is more concrete? Is it the symmetry? Is it the shapes made up of straight lines? Or is it the arrow pointing? कौन सा ज्यादा strong argument है या फिर strong reasoning है? Relatively, reasoning तो तीनों सही है. See, the arrows, they do not have some specific direction, right? It's moving east and south in the first one. It's moving north and east in the second figure. It's moving east and south in the third figure. It's moving west and north in the fourth figure, and it's moving north and south in the fifth figure. तो इसमें कुछ है नहीं कि साउथ इज कंसिस्टेंट, नॉर्थ इज कंसिस्टेंट, ईस्ट इज कंसिस्टेंट, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. यू विल नॉट फाइंड अ पर्टिकुलर लेटर और अ डायरेक्शन विच इज इन 4 आउट ऑफ दिस 5, है ना. तो एरो का डायरेक्शन का तो सेंस नहीं बनना चाहिए. द नंबर ऑफ साइड्स इज रिलेटिवली अ वीकर आर्गुमेंट एज कंपेयर टू दिस सिमेट्री. डोंट यू थिंक? So I believe the answer should be A. What do you guys believe? हाँ वैष्णवी, चलो ट्रायंगल एंड रेक्टेंगल रिपीटेड. अच्छा वो बोल रहे हो, सर्किल इज नॉट रिपीटेड. वो भी हो सकता है, who knows. ठीक है. So I will go with the first one because every figure, in whichever direction the arrows are pointing and whatever the symbol is, the arrow is converting that figure into symmetrical portions or congruent parts. In the first figure, ये वाला जो है ना, ये आपका congruent नहीं है. ठीक है. So here you have equal parts, here you have congruent parts. सब में बराबर divide करता है arrow. इसमें नहीं करता. ठीक है. A. Next question. Select the figure among the following options in which the given figure is embedded. यानी रोटेशन अलाउड है. ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में none of the above नहीं होना चाहिए. So if the rotation is allowed, if you have a similar question, तो इसका आंसर ना आप लोग D कर लो. बिकॉज रोटेशन के अकॉर्डिंग ये चलो रोटेट हो जा रहा है. आई एम स्टिल लिटिल हेसिटेंट, पर कोई नहीं. यप. सो दिस फिगर, इन विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग 4 figures and the option none of the above, you see that trapezium shaped figure hidden. A में तो नहीं है. It is there in B, right? And it is there in 2 ways. Either you can choose this trapezium or you can choose this trapezium. ये दोनों में से कोई भी हो सकता है. In C we do not have a trapezium, and in D also we do not have this trapezium. Pretty sure we do not have. नहीं, D में भी है. In D also we can have this trapezium, right? But then it is made up of more than 1 figure. पर वो भी allowed होता है कि नहीं? If I choose this, तो ये भी वो ट्रेपेजियम दिख देगा रोटेशन के बाद. Wow. So we have this as the trapezium, or we can have this as the trapezium. Either may we have this as the trapezium and we can have this as the trapezium. तो देखो भाई, अगर रोटेशन अलाउड है तो आई एम गेटिंग टू ऑप्शंस. अगर रोटेशन अलाउड नहीं है, आई शुड बी गेटिंग द सेम शेप, एग्जैक्ट सेम शेप समवेयर पेस्टेड, राइट? तो वो कौन सा होना चाहिए? डी होना चाहिए या ई होना चाहिए? अरे बी क्यों नहीं बोल रहे? If you are saying D is the answer, B is also there. No, you have the same trapezium there. Look at the bottom two parts of that triangle. You have a trapezium there each side. Isn't it? तो B बोलोगे कि D बोलोगे? दोनों में है. ऑप्शन तो एक ही मार्क करना है. So can we assume that rotation is not allowed? Otherwise, how can we mark two options? So E becomes the answer. और कोई चारा नहीं है. There is no other way out of this. आप लोग डी के पीछे क्यों पड़े हो? बी में क्या खामी दिख रही है? I'll go with none of the above because I can't mark two options. Okay, next figure. Yeah, thank you, Varun. I take mathematics as in quant as well as LRDI. और रोटेशन अगर अलाउड है काशिफ तो बी या डी, तो एक ही मार्क करोगे ना. Minil, D is the answer, but I'm saying B is also the answer. B option, bravo. Second option, right? But which one will you mark, B or D? That is the problem. Here also you have the trapeziums, isn't it? So if you find the trapezium here, you will say B. If you find the trapezium in D option, you will say D. दोनों में दिख रहा है, पर दोनों नहीं मार्क कर सकते ना, और दो ऑप्शन सही भी नहीं हो सकते. So we will have to go after the option which gives us certain logic. So obviously I will have to enforce this logic that rotation is not allowed, because if rotation is allowed, B and D both make sense. तो मेरे को एक ऑप्शन मार्क करना है, तो मेरे को E करना पड़ेगा. योगिता, व्हाट इफ का सवाल नहीं उठता है क्योंकि आपके पास स्केल एज इन यू डोंट हैव अ रूलर और एनी मेजरिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट कि आप मेजर करके बता सको एग्जैक्टली वही है. जस्ट बिकॉज डी का ट्रेपेजियम इज लिटिल लार्जर एज कंपेयर टू बी, तो उस लॉजिक के हिसाब से तो आप लोग जब मेरे को इस क्वेश्चन के बारे में बोल रहे थे क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 में कि ये बो शेप्ड फिगर ये कहां दिख रहा था, तो ये तो बहुत छोटा था ना. The reason why I said none of the above, but you guys were like it, ठीक है rotation allowed है तो कर लेते हैं, तो I was like चलो D कर लेते हैं, right? पर यहाँ पर तो आप रोटेशन वही लॉजिक लगा लोगे रोटेशन का, तो B और D दोनों में अलाउड है, right? Kashif, when you have such kind of hidden figures, it's only the outline that you should be concerned about. If there is a line inside it, don't be worried about it. As in, आपको वो फिगर दिखना चाहिए, ठीक है? No, Varun. Okay, let's go to the next question. So we need to find the correct figure from the given alternative so that the series is completed. क्या चल रहा है? Okay, it's more common sense based rather than trying to actually find the relation in consecutive pairs of figures. First and second figure में relation मत ढूंढो. Whatever relation exists, the relation exists in the same figure. It's not related to the next one. So you have 4-sided figure, 4-sided figure, 3-sided figure. You have 5-sided figure, 5-sided figure, 4-sided figure. You have 4-sided figure, 4-sided figure, 3-sided figure. Let's look at the stars. Stars में sides की जगह let's see how many vertices we have. तो sides की जगह vertices की बात कर लेते हैं. So you have 5 vertices here, you have 5 vertices here, you have 4 vertices here. Vertices मतलब वो point, ये वाला. Non-obtuse. ठीक है, इसको vertex बोल रहे हैं. Side count करेंगे तो दिक्कत हो जाएगी. There will be a mismatch. So can we say in every figure, the two figures on the left hand side, they have equal number of vertices, non-obtuse vertices, and the figure to the right, which is the larger one, it will have one lesser number of vertex. तो वो किधर दिख रहा है हमें? वो हमें किसी में नहीं दिख रहा है फिलहाल. C could have been the answer, but then we have a hexagon at the bottom, not pentagon. D could have been the answer, but then we need to have a triangle, the large triangle, and not a rectangle on the right hand side, because we have 4 vertices, तो एक कम दिखना चाहिए था, triangle दिखना चाहिए था, isn't it? Very weird. It should have been none of the above. E को हटा के none of the above कर देते, कोई option sense नहीं बनता. Okay. The thing is, if this figure would have been a regular pentagon or simply a pentagon, C would have been the answer. Or if this would have been a triangle, तो D would have been the answer. बाकी A, B, E में तो you will not find same figures on the left hand side and another figure on the right hand side, where the right hand side figure has got one less number of vertex as compared to the left hand side figures. तो none of the above होना चाहिए, क्योंकि कोई sense नहीं बनता. The question arises, do we get such kind of questions in the actual exam where the options will not match and there are some typos in the question? Yes, it does happen. तो उस केस में क्या करना चाहिए? Should we mark the question? Should we leave it? See, if the question is wrong, as in if the options do not match, so how do you know कि जो correct option है वो B ही होना चाहिए था या C ही होना चाहिए? So in such cases, what the college or the institute who takes the exam, what they do is they either award marks to everyone irrespective of whatever you marked it, or they will not award any marks to it. तो उधर सोचना नहीं है, अक्कड़ बक्कड़ नहीं खेलना है कि A करूं B करूं. Either mark the closest option that you think is correct, you can leave it, you can mark it. या तो सबको नंबर मिलेगा या किसी को नंबर नहीं मिलेगा. So it doesn't really matter कि आप उसको attempt किए हो कि नहीं. ऐसा नहीं है कि somebody who has attempted it and made a mistake there will get a mark as compared to somebody who did not even attempt it. ये मत सोचना, ठीक है? तो आप उस समय छोड़ दो या कुछ भी मार्क करके आगे बढ़ जाओ, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So yes, you will come across some such kind of typos in actual exam. ठीक है? Arrow 7 side, hexagon 6. I agree, but then the problem arises. Who said that? Kashif. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आपके पास ये लेफ्ट साइड फिगर सेम है, लेफ्ट साइड फिगर सेम है, लेफ्ट साइड फिगर सेम है, लेफ्ट साइड फिगर सेम है. तो यहां पर आपको लेफ्ट साइड फिगर्स कैसे दिख रहे हैं? राइट, द राइट हैंड फिगर्स आर द लार्जेस्ट वंस. नहीं है ना, with difference of one vertex, right? तो ये भी नहीं है. None of the above होना चाहिए. Option E को कर देते हैं. Next, choose the figure that is different from other figures in the series. Which one is different? काफी सिंपल क्वेश्चन है ये. And people who are all present, please take 2 seconds to like the video. That's all we need, right? बस like करो. Subscribe आप already कर चुके हो. People who are watching and who are not in the chat, please make sure that you subscribe so that you can get in the chat and ask queries or answer questions, right? So everyone, please make sure that you like the video. Jaldi answer. Fifth, right? Pretty simple. All the arrows, they originate from the sides of the figures. यही एक है जो vertex से निकलता है. All the arrows, they start from the side. Pretty simple logic. Okay, next one. Select the figure from the following options that is related to the third figure in the same way as the second figure is related to the first figure. We have done similar questions before. तो ये अब क्या चल रहा है? बहुत सिंपल है. I believe आसान सा दिख रहा है. Why 4? I don't know, you guys are answering for which question? नए वाले क्वेश्चन का ही कर रहे हो ना भाई? 4 ट्रायंगल्स कहाँ का बात कर रहे हैं? इस प्रॉब्लम का. So these two figures are the same one. It's just that they have been glued. इनको close लेते आए. If I remove this white strip between them, the two rectangles will come close and this is the shape that you will get with the kind of shading. Same thing, if I close this strip, bring the two triangles close, I'll get option C. Shade, not shaded, shaded, not shaded. है ना? ठीक है, simple था. So before you guys leave, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe, and if possible share it with your friends who are also preparing for MAHCET, right? Our new batch has it's going to start, okay? And there is one batch, not one, couple of batches that have already begun. So if you want to prepare for this year's CAT or other MBA entrance tests, we have brought you comprehensive program for CAT 2023, wherein you will be provided a tablet, which is included in the fees. You will be provided with more than 200 hours of live classroom sessions with problem solving and concept building. You will be provided with more than 75 mocks, MBA as in CAT as well as non-CAT. You will be provided with more than 10,000 practice questions. You will be provided with more than 300 recorded lectures. And you will be helped with GDPI and VAT preparation. You will be helped with offline reading by, we will provide you with 4 hard copy books. We'll mail it to you at your address. And you will be given more than 5 years of previous year questions, along with solutions, mind it. So link is given in the description. If you want to know more about the batch, you can get in touch with one of our counselors. They will help you out with it. And for the batch, you can avail up to 90% scholarship, okay, which is huge, as in it's going to be very, very cheap, very, non-costly affair if you get a 90% scholarship. So not everyone is going to get 90% scholarship. The seats are going to be limited. So if you want to avail this scholarship, please make sure that you write the scholarship test on 18th of March at 7 p.m. The link to this is given in the description below. It was also shared in the chat. On 11th of March at 7 p.m., Mr. Srinivas is going to discuss how to devise a test taking strategy, how to get good scores in the mocks. Okay, so mocks are going to start very soon, right? So mocks is not about syllabus completion, mocks is not about revising things, it's about devising a strategy. आपको करने कम क्वेश्चंस हैं पर सही करना है. कैसे?